At 93, Angie Dickinson finally speaks with the honesty Hollywood never allowed her. Known for her smoldering gaze and fearless presence on screen, Angie captivated audiences for decades, from Rio Bravo to Policewoman. But behind the glamorous roles and red carpet smiles lay a life shaped by betrayal, manipulation, and quiet heartbreak. She loved, trusted, and believed in men who seemed larger than life, only to discover how easily power can crush the most independent spirit. Now, after nearly a century of living in the public eye, Angie has chosen to name the 5 men she will never forgive, not out of bitterness, but out of truth. These are men who influenced her career, invaded her personal life, or shattered the illusions she held about love and loyalty. This is a story of survival, courage, and a woman reclaiming her voice after decades of silence. 1. Frank Sinatra, the lover in a golden cage. The first man is Frank Sinatra, a man who could make millions of women swoons with a glance, but controlled Angie with fear behind closed doors. Morning flowers and whispered flattery masked a dangerous obsession. When Angie landed roles that required intimacy with other men, Sinatra's jealousy erupted. He would throw scripts, ban male co-stars, and monitor her every move. Angie described the feeling as living in a gilded cage. She was admired by all, but owned by one. The turning point came in 1970 when she was nominated for an independent film role. Sinatra called the director at 2 a.m., threatening the actress's career if she appeared in the film. The opportunity vanished, leaving Angie to realize that loving Frank meant surrendering herself entirely. Yet despite his control, she endured, performing, smiling, and surviving under immense pressure. Her hatred is complex. She loved him, but he demanded ownership, not partnership. His charm may have captivated the world, but for Angie, it came at the cost of her autonomy, freedom, and peace of mind, leaving scars that even decades could not erase. 2. Berg Bacharach, the husband who walked away. The second man is Berg Bacharach, Angie's husband and the father of her daughter Nikki, who was diagnosed with autism. Their marriage, once seen as glamorous and harmonious, concealed unimaginable neglect. While Angie poured herself into caring for Nikki, Berg prioritized fame, women, and personal freedom over family. He abandoned both Angie and their daughter emotionally, often ignoring urgent pleas for help, refusing to sign medical forms, and disappearing into work or indulgences. Even more painful, Angie discovered he maintained an affair throughout her pregnancy, bringing the woman into their home as Angie slept nearby. To her, this wasn't just marital betrayal. It was a rupture of trust, safety, and family. Berg's departure left Angie to shoulder the immense responsibilities alone, navigating the challenges of raising a child with special needs in a world that offered little understanding or support. Their divorce in 1981 appeared amicable publicly, but for Angie, the wound lingered. She loathes Berg because he didn't simply fail her as a partner, he failed Nikki, leaving an indelible mark on her life and shaping her perspective on trust, loyalty, and the cruelty some people can conceal behind charm and titles. 3. Jack Webb, the silent career killer. The third man, Jack Webb, represents the power of influence and the cruelty of unspoken threats. A titan of television in the 1970s, Webb controlled casting decisions and opportunities for countless actors. Angie recalled refusing advances, confident that her talent would speak for itself. But the very next morning, 3 roles disappeared, contracts vanished, and friends whispered warnings of a career blocked. His power required no violence or public scandal. One phone call was enough to erase years of work and reputation. Angie quietly packed her dressing room, realizing that Hollywood could crush even its brightest stars without legal repercussions or accountability. Webb's betrayal was a lesson in the fragility of success and the hidden costs of integrity. She didn't cry publicly, she internalized the loss, understanding that survival sometimes meant navigating a system built on fear and influence rather than merit. Her hatred stems not from personal animosity alone, but from the realization that talent and hard work could be undermined by someone's desire to control, proving that even an accomplished woman like Angie was vulnerable in a male-dominated industry. 4th, Larry King, the love that controlled. The 4th man, Larry King, not the famous broadcaster, was Angie's lover whose devotion twisted into suffocating control. Every compliment, Every touch came with strings attached. He watched, monitored, and manipulated, slowly dismantling her independence while masking it as love. Friends drifted away, jobs disappeared, and even minor acts like returning home late triggered rage. King installed microphones, monitored her interactions, and ensured Angie lived under constant surveillance. He never struck her physically, but his manipulation left psychological scars. Angie described him whispering, "You're mine forever. If you leave me, I won't survive, but neither will you." The control was subtle yet relentless, eroding her sense of self and freedom. Angie's hatred lies in the deception of love, a force meant to support, comfort, and empower, instead weaponized to dominate, frighten, and isolate. Surviving this relationship required immense courage, a careful balance between defiance and submission, and an inner strength that allowed her to reclaim autonomy without allowing fear to silence her entirely. King's betrayal reminds us that love can become its own prison, leaving lasting emotional wounds even when physical harm is absent. 5. Johnny Carson, the public betrayal. The fifth and final man is Johnny Carson, the friend who betrayed Angie through inaction and subtle humiliation. During a Lifetime Achievement Award appearance, a potentially scandalous clip resurfaced, a deleted scene mentioning a previously accused producer. Rather than warn or protect Angie, Carson chose performance over loyalty, offering a comforting hug before the cameras while ensuring she would be publicly exposed to embarrassment. Behind the scenes, he aided in blurring her name from nominations boards, leaving Angie powerless in front of industry and audience alike. Carson's betrayal was personal because it came from someone she trusted deeply, someone who once considered her family. Unlike others, his harm wasn't violent, romantic, or opportunistic. It was strategic and emotionally manipulative, using trust and friendship as instruments of control. Angie's hatred is rooted in this expectation of loyalty, the pain of seeing a confidant prioritize optics over truth. Even after decades, this memory lingers, underscoring how betrayal doesn't always shout. It whispers in moments when support is needed most, leaving a wound that lasts far longer than a public scandal. Conclusion: Angie Dickinson's strength and survival. Angie Dickinson's story is a testament to survival, resilience, and moral courage in the face of betrayal. Each man she named, Frank Sinatra, Berg Bacharach, Jack Webb, Larry King, and Johnny Carson, represents a different kind of treachery: romantic manipulation, familial abandonment, professional sabotage, obsessive control, and personal betrayal. Through each wound, Angie endured, navigated, and ultimately reclaimed her voice. Her hatred is not senseless or vengeful. It is recognition of injustice, courage in confronting the truth, and refusal to erase her experiences for public comfort. At 93, Angie Dickinson stands unbroken, a woman who survived Hollywood's shadows, personal betrayals, and systemic misogyny. Her story illuminates the resilience required to protect one's identity, dignity, and values, even in environments designed to suppress them. More than a star, Angie is an example of enduring human strength, showing that survival, autonomy, and self-respect are victories in themselves. Her legacy is not simply her films or accolades, it is her courage to speak truth, name betrayal, and inspire women everywhere to honor their experiences without shame.